Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaffirms India's focus on a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific, addresses 16th East Asia Summit virtually. Home Minister Amit Shah says projects initiated by Prime Minister Modi contributed to the development of all sectors in the country. Government launches operational guidelines of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 and Amrut 2.0. Campaigning comes to an end for by-elections to 3 Lok Sabha seats and 30 Assembly seats in 14 states, voting on Saturday. Ministry of Education notifies 4-year Integrated Teacher Education Program, ITEP. Registrations begin from academic session 2022-23. Over a dozen houses gutted and 150 people affected by a massive fire at Himachal Pradesh's ancient Malana village of Kulu district. Prime Minister expresses grief over the tragedy. More than 103 crore 53 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered in the country. Recovery rate stands at 98.19%. Hiroshima nuclear bomb attack survivor Sunal Savoy dies at 96 in Japan. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, England beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets at Abu Dhabi. Second match between Namibia and Scotland underway at the same venue. As India created history by administering 100 crore doses of vaccine against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reaffirmed India's focus on a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific and the principle of ASEAN centrality in the region. He said this while participating in the 16th East Asia Summit hosted by Brunei through video conference. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said India remains committed to strengthening respect for shared values of multilateralism, rules-based international order, international law and sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations. The Prime Minister added that he is looking forward to participate in the 18th ASEAN-India Summit tomorrow. The East Asia Summit is the premier leaders-led forum in the Indo-Pacific. Since its inception in 2005, it has played a significant role in the strategic and geopolitical evolution of East Asia. Apart from the 10 ASEAN member states, East Asia Summit includes India, China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, the United States and Russia. India, being a founding member, is committed to strengthening the East Asia Summit and making it more effective for dealing with contemporary challenges. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that rise of serious threats such as terrorism, piracy, drug trafficking and climate change have thrown new challenges for the Indo-Pacific region. He was addressing the inaugural session of Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue 2021 through video conferencing today.
The rise of serious threats such as terrorism, piracy, drug trafficking and climate change have thrown new challenges for our Indo-Pacific region. The nature of these challenges in the region has considerably transnational implications which require a cooperative response. Therefore, a need to find convergence of interests and commonality of purpose on maritime issues.
The Defence Minister stressed on the need to find convergence of interests and commonality of purpose on maritime issues. Mr. Singh said India is committed to respecting the rights of all nations as laid down in the UN Convention on the Law of Seas.
India has expressed concern at China's unilateral decision to bring about a legislation which can have implications on existing bilateral arrangements on border management as well as on the boundary question. In response to media queries, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said such unilateral move will have no bearing on the arrangements that both sides have already reached on, whether it is on the boundary question or for maintaining peace and tranquility along the LAC in India-China border areas. He said India also expects that China will avoid undertaking action under the pretext of this law, which could unilaterally alter the situation in the India-China border areas. Mr. Bagchi said India is aware that China has passed a new land boundary law on 23rd of this month. The law states, among other things, that China abides by treaties concluded with or jointly acceded to by foreign countries on land boundary affairs. It also has provisions to carry out reorganization of districts in border areas. Surface-to-surface ballistic missile Agni 5 was successfully launched from APJ Abdul Kalam Island in Orissa today. Agni 5 is capable of striking targets at ranges up to 5,000 kilometers with very high degree of accuracy. It uses a 3-stage solid-fueled engine. The successful launch is in line with India's policy to have credible minimum deterrence that underpins the commitment to no first use.
Home Minister Amit Shah has said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reforms have always been based on the needs of the poor, and Mr. Modi has given a human angle to the GDP. The Home Minister said this in New Delhi while addressing the inaugural session of the National Conference on Delivering Democracy, reviewing 2 decades of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as head of government. Mr. Shah said Mr. Modi initiated projects that contributed to India's development in all sectors. He said the GDP should grow, but its beneficiary should be the poor and needy. The minister also said 19 lakh crore rupees have been sent through direct benefit transfer, supporting the poor and needy across the nation under various schemes.
जब डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर स्कीम चालू हुई, विधवा सहाय का पैसा सीधा विधवा के बैंक अकाउंट में चला गया, वृद्ध सहाय का पैसा सीधा वृद्ध के घर में चला गया। कोरोना आया, 20 करोड़ माताओं को 500 रुपया हर महीने दिया नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने, दिव्यांगों को दिया, जब सीधा इसके अकाउंट में चला गया, बिचौलिया ही नहीं बचा, आधा पैसा लोग खा जाते थे उससे बचे, तब मालूम पड़ा कि जनधन योजना क्या है। अब तक 19 लाख करोड़ रुपया डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर स्कीम के तहत लोगों के घर में पहुंच गया है।
Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri launched the operational guidelines of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 and Amrit 2.0 in New Delhi today. The SBMU 2.0 and Amrit 2.0 guidelines have been designed after multiple rounds of stakeholder consultations and feedback from them. Speaking at the occasion, the minister said the second phases of both the missions are set to transform the country into a really clean country. The country had become ODF in 2019 on the basis of third-party verification, and it will now move to ODF Plus and ODF Plus Plus. Mr. Puri said that movement from ODF to garbage-free will bring about major changes in the ecosystem. He said that Amrit mission was earlier covering only 500 cities, and the same will now expand to all the cities. He said the scheme will not only provide water tap connections, it will also help in realization of the real value of water. Describing the launch of guidelines as the Diwali gift to the citizens of the country for a clean environment, he said these are being issued within 4 weeks of the launch of the mission. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia released Krishi Udan 2.0 today, which lays out the vision of improving value realization through better integration and optimization of agri-harvesting and air transportation. The scheme proposes to facilitate and incentivize movement of agri-produce by air transportation. The minister said Krishi Udan 2.0 is an example of the government's collaborative approach towards policy making. The scheme will open up new avenues of growth for the agriculture sector and help attain the goal of doubling farmers' income by removing barriers in supply chain, logistics and transportation of farm produce.
The conundrum of farm to market. That is the problem that we intend to solve for our Annadata. And that problem can only be solved for our farmer, our Kisan, our Annadata, if we are able to take him or her up the value chain. And therein lies the sankalp of our government of doubling farmers' income. Doubling farmers' income does not mean only by increasing the value in the market for the produce, but it also means creating a paradigm shift for the farmer, creating an inflection point for the farmer, taking the farmer up the value chain, from production to processing to marketing and to the ultimate last mile sale.
The Krishi Udan 2.0 will be implemented at 53 airports across the country, mainly focusing on the northeast and tribal regions, and is likely to benefit farmers, freight forwarders and airlines.
Campaign for bypolls in 3 Lok Sabha seats and 30 assembly seats in 14 states has ended today. The by-elections will be held on Saturday. Lok Sabha bypolls will be held for Khandwa parliamentary constituency in Madhya Pradesh, Mandi in Himachal Pradesh and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. The by-elections for assembly seats will be held in 14 states including Assam, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Haryana and Maharashtra. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaffirms India's focus on a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific, addresses 16th East Asia Summit virtually. Home Minister Amit Shah says projects initiated by Prime Minister Modi contributed to the development of all sectors in the country. Government launches operational guidelines of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 and Amrut 2.0. Campaigning comes to an end for by-elections to 3 Lok Sabha seats and 30 assembly seats in 14 states, voting on Saturday. Ministry of Education notifies 4-year Integrated Teacher Education Program ITEP. Registrations begin from academic session 2022-23. Over a dozen houses gutted and 150 people affected by a massive fire at Himachal Pradesh's ancient Malana village of Kulu district. Prime Minister expresses grief over the tragedy. More than 103 crore 53 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered in the country. Recovery rate stands at 98.19%. Hiroshima nuclear bomb attack survivor Sunao Suboi dies at 96 in Japan. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, England beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets at Abu Dhabi. Second match between Namibia and Scotland underway at the same venue. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में बृहस्पतिवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सेनानियों की वीर गाथा.
Welcome back to the evening news. Ministry of Education has notified the 4-year Integrated Teacher Education Program ITEP. It is a dual major holistic bachelor's degree offering BA B.Ed, BSc B.Ed and BCom B.Ed, which is one of the major mandates of the National Education Policy NEP 2020 related to teacher education. As per the NEP 2020, teacher engagement from the year 2030 onwards will be only through ITEP. It will be offered in pilot mode initially in about 50 selected multidisciplinary institutions across the country. The Ministry of Education in a statement said the commencement of 4-year ITEP will begin from the academic session 2022-23. Admission for the same will be carried out by the National Testing Agency through the National Common Entrance Test. This course will be offered by multidisciplinary institutions and will become the minimal degree qualification for school teachers. The Supreme Court today ordered a probe into the Pegasus surveillance case by a 3-member expert committee. The committee will be headed by retired Supreme Court Judge Justice R.V. Ravindran. The Supreme Court will monitor the functioning of the committee. A bench comprising Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana and Justice Suryakant and Justice Hima Kohli observed that there has been no specific denial by the centre on the issue. The court said while there are restrictions on right to privacy, the same are bound by constitutional safeguards. The apex court said restrictions on privacy can be imposed only for prevention of terrorist activities in the interest of national security. BJP today criticized the Congress over a Pegasus issue, alleging that it is spreading lies on the matter. Talking to reporters in New Delhi, party spokesperson Sambit Patra said neither Congress nor its leader Rahul Gandhi had gone to court over the issue. He said the government had given an affidavit demanding an expert committee to look into the matter, and the apex court has accepted it. Terming Pegasus issue as manufactured controversy, he alleged that Mr. Gandhi is spreading lies over the issue.
जहां तक राहुल गांधी और कांग्रेस पार्टी का सवाल है, विडंबना यह है कि राजनीति में उनकी इंटरेस्ट है नहीं, तो किस प्रकार से दूर खड़े होकर केवल भ्रम की राजनीति करना और देश में एक झूठे नैरेटिव को फ्लोट करना, वैमनस्यता पैदा करना, ये प्रयास कांग्रेस पार्टी और राहुल गांधी जी की हर विषय में रही है। और हर विषय में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को वो कितने भी कटघरे में खड़े करने की कोशिश करे, चाहे वो रफाल का विषय हो, चाहे अन्य मुद्दे हो, जो लोग डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस और सत्यता पे विश्वास करते हैं, सत्य की ही जीत होती है।
Earlier, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi had welcomed the Supreme Court decision, saying that opposition's stand on the issue has been vindicated. He criticized the government over the issue. The court has ordered the formation of a 3-member expert committee to inquire into the alleged use of Pegasus spyware.
More than 103 crore 53 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. More than 13,000 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload stands at 1,62,661, which is the lowest in the last 242 days. The recovery rate is currently at 98.19%. The administered 2 crore first doses of COVID-19 vaccine in the state. Assam achieved this feat this afternoon. On the other hand, over 76 lakh people got both the COVID jabs. Health Minister Keshav Mahanta has appreciated the role of health practitioners for this achievement and urged all to take the vaccine. Assam has set the target to administer the first dose of vaccine to all eligible people within this month.
Ahead of Diwali, the Maharashtra government today issued guidelines for the general public. The Festival of Lights will be celebrated from November the 2nd to the 6th, 2021. The press release issued by the state government today stated that although the second wave of corona has subsided, the threat of corona still remains. More in this report.
Maharashtra government's latest guidelines for Diwali stated that it is imperative for the citizens to take proper precautions from the point of view of health while celebrating the Festival of Lights. It cautioned stating that the elderly citizens as well as young children in particular should avoid going out of the house frequently. The guideline also stated that citizens should avoid setting off firecrackers this year. It clearly mentioned that strict adherence to COVID-appropriate rules must be followed while organizing cultural programs. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
Information and Broadcasting Ministry has issued advisory to all print, electronic media, digital media to display the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav logo during news programs, reports and bulletins. In a letter, the ministry said countrywide celebrations are being undertaken under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav campaign to commemorate the completion of 75 years of India's independence. The advisory said in view of this, media platforms may consider displaying the official Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav logo during news programs, reports, bulletins, especially while reporting on matters relating to 75 years of India's independence. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
27th of October is the death anniversary of the great freedom fighter, revolutionary and journalist Brahma Bandhab Upadhyay. He was born on February 11, 1861 in Khonnan village of Hooghly district of West Bengal. When he was in high school, he became inclined towards the nationalist movement, and during his college education, he plunged into the freedom movement. Brahma Bandhab wanted to join the army of the Maharaja of Gwalior to learn the art of war and drive away the British. He made the effort twice, but returned disappointed with the policy of the Maharaja.
Like many of his contemporaries, Brahma Bandhab's desire was to establish national pride, coupled with a spiritual quest. His biographer, Julius Liepner, says, Brahma Bandhab made a significant contribution to the shaping of the new India, whose identity began to emerge from the first half of the 19th century. He was a contemporary and a friend of the poet Rabindranath Tagore and Vivekananda. Brahma Bandhab edited Bengali paper Sandhya and remained its editor till his last breath. He popularized Swaraj and the Swadeshi movement through Sandhya and another Bengali weekly, Yugantar, and wrote against the British colonialism and European cultural hegemony in Sofia in English. On 10th September 1907, Brahma Bandhab was arrested and prosecuted on a charge of sedition. His articles were found to be inflammatory. He refused to defend himself in the court, and on 23rd September 1907, a statement was submitted to the court through his counsel, Barrister Chittaranjan Das.
In the statement, Brahma Bandhab said he accepted the entire responsibility of the publication, management and conduct of Sondha, adding he was the writer of the article which appeared in the paper on 13th of August 1907. It was one of the articles forming the subject matter of Brahma Bandhab's prosecution. He said he did not want to take part in the trial because he did not believe that in carrying out his humble share of the God-appointed mission of Swaraj, he is in any way accountable to the alien people who happen to rule over Indians and whose interest is and necessarily be in the way of Indians' true national development. During the trial, Brahma Bandhab reported pain in his abdomen and was admitted to the Campbell Hospital in Kolkata. He had undergone a surgery but could not overcome his sufferings and passed away on the 27th of October 1907. During the 46-year-old life, Brahma Bandhab Upadhyay sought truth relentlessly and engaged in the freedom struggle against foreign domination.
On 27th October 1904, revolutionary freedom fighter Jatindranath Das was born in Kolkata. At the tender age of just 17, he participated in the non-cooperation movement in 1921. Jatin was arrested by the British on 14th June 1929 in connection with the Lahore conspiracy case relating to the killing of British police officer John Saunders by revolutionaries. A crusader for rights of political prisoners, Jatin sat on a 63-day-long hunger strike in the Lahore Central Jail in protest against mistreatment of the prisoners by the British. During the course of this strike, he had to endure numerous hardships. Ultimately, Jatin made supreme sacrifice for the motherland on 13th September 1929. Subhash Chandra Bose described him as the young Dadichi of India.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In some more news, a massive fire broke out in the ancient Malana village of Kulu district in Himachal Pradesh in the early hours today. More than a dozen houses were gutted in the fire, affecting 150 people. The raging fire, doused by the local firefighters, is now under control, but it has caused heavy losses to property. No casualties have been reported in this incident. Prime Minister Modi has expressed grief for the families affected due to the fire tragedy. Chief Minister Jairam Thakur has also expressed deep grief over the incident and directed the administration to provide relief and rehabilitation to the affected families. A leading Japanese campaigner against nuclear weapons who survived the world's first atomic bomb attack has died at the age of 96. Tsunasu Boy was on his way to college when he was caught in the blast at Hiroshima on 6th of August 1945, suffering burns all over his body. Some 140,000 people were killed, and Suboi dedicated his life to campaigning to eradicate nuclear armaments. Suboi died of anemia on Saturday, an official from the campaign association told news agencies.
On to sports. In T20 Cricket World Cup, Scotland were 99 for 6 in 17.5 overs against Namibia at Zayed Cricket Stadium, Abu Dhabi, when reports last came in. Earlier, Namibia won the toss and elected to field. In another match, England defeated Bangladesh by 8 wickets at the same venue. Bangladesh won the toss, elected to bat and set a target of 125 runs. England achieved the target, losing 2 wickets with 35 balls remaining. All India Radio is broadcasting ball-by-ball commentary of the World Cup matches. In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Professor of Medicine, Lady Hardinge Medical College, Dr. Anupam Prakash will be with us today to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. onwards on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767 and on telephone number 011-2331-4444. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi and Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will vary between 25 and 33 degrees. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The city will observe a minimum temperature of 24 degrees and a maximum of around 31. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 4 and 20 degrees. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky too. Minimum temperature will be 13 degrees, maximum around 28. Leh is likely to witness mainly clear sky as well. Minimum and maximum temperature will hover between -4 and 10 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 7 and 22 degrees Celsius. Bengaluru will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will hover between 20 and 28 degrees. Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature will be 23, maximum 32. Guwahati will have fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Minimum temperature will be around 21, maximum around 31. Imphal will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Shillong will witness partly cloudy sky. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaffirms India's focus on a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific, addresses 16th East Asia Summit virtually. Home Minister Amit Shah says projects initiated by Prime Minister Modi contributed to the development of all sectors in the country. Government launches operational guidelines of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 and Amrut 2.0. Campaigning comes to an end for by-elections to 3 Lok Sabha seats and 30 assembly seats in 14 states, voting on Saturday. Ministry of Education notifies 4-year Integrated Teacher Education Program ITEP. Registrations begin from academic session 2022-23. Over a dozen houses gutted and 150 people affected by a massive fire at Himachal Pradesh's ancient Malana village of Kulu district. Prime Minister expresses grief over the tragedy. More than 103 crore 53 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered in the country. Recovery rate at 98.19%. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, England beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets at Abu Dhabi. Second match between Namibia and Scotland underway at the same venue. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.